There I was, on an interstate highway somewhere in Ohio. It was just another day in the life of an over-the-road tanker truck driver. Yet there was a nagging issue. It had been creeping into my mind again and again for the past couple weeks. Then there it was. An accident ahead. And lots of traffic. The worst kind of traffic. At a dead stop and an emergency detour. Without that darn detour, I might have avoided dealing with Facebrides romance scammers. And so many other scammers on Facebook. That detour started this Facebrides detour. But it would end a lot differently than how it started that day. A couple weeks prior, an associate of mine had announced on Facebook his engagement to be married to an attractive young lady. We will call Victoria Carver. My associate had also commented she is such a good person too. The problem was that future face bride, Victoria Carver, appeared to be younger than 25 years old. My associate is more than 50 years old. And possibly more vulnerable to Facebrides romance scammers on Facebook than I had thought possible. That detour off the interstate gave me a chance to check out Facebride number 1. Victoria Carver's profile and photos on Facebook. And clicking those 3 little dots led to a personalized Facebook URL website address. It wasn't Victoria Carver's name on the personalized Facebook URL web address. It was who we will call Elvis Boo Presley not. The Facebrides romance scammer's name was right there. And it was easy to search for Elvis Boo Presley not on Facebook. And then found him. In Nigeria. This sure didn't seem to be a candidate for happily ever after Facebride wedded bliss for my associate. Though I had no issues with a transcontinental, online, multiracial, multicultural, gay, spring/fall matrimony. It was important that my associate knew his fiancée was. Well, nobody's perfect. So I contacted a couple relatives of my associate. There was an immediate reply from one of my associate's relatives. With simply, "Oh my." My associate had already given money to Elvis Boo Presley not. And had no money for food or expenses for the following 2 weeks. Elvis Boo Presley not had also taken down his Facebride, Victoria Carver, scammer profile on Facebook. Elvis Boo Presley not had used my associate's money to produce music for a blossoming singing career in Nigeria. Let's just say the musical career of Elvis Boo Presley not has been less than fruitful. At least so far. A couple weeks passed. And I figured my associate would give up on finding Facebride matrimony on Facebook. Oh lordy, was I ever wrong. My associate was quickly engaged to Facebride number 2 from Tennessee. We will call her Cassidy Carlisle. Facebride number 2 was 25 or so in the photos that the scammer had stolen. The personalized Facebook URL website address was not a clue to the true identity of Facebride number 2, Cassidy Carlisle. It took some research on how to use internet search engines with reverse image search capabilities to find the source of Facebride number 2's stolen images. A Russian search engine called Yandex worked to identify the real, innocent victim that the images were stolen from. The stolen images and videos were of an adult film entertainer. We will call the innocent victim of the stolen images and videos Samantha Daly. She also does have a profile on Facebook. I contacted innocent victim Samantha on Facebook Messenger. She immediately answered. She was not aware that romance scammer Facebride number 2, Cassidy Carlisle, was using her stolen images and videos and said she would try to get the profile removed. 8 months later, Nigerian romance scammer Cassidy Carlisle is still active on Facebook and using the stolen images of the innocent victim Samantha Daly. And Facebook has made it easier to collect criminally acquired money for the Nigerian romance scammer by providing a Pay Cassidy button on the scammer Cassidy Carlisle's Facebook profile. I contacted my associate directly this time. My associate assured me that Facebride number 2, Cassidy Carlisle was real and swear word the rest. I told my associate that the images had been stolen from innocent victim, Samantha Daly, and provided a few links to adult videos. So it would be reasonable to assume that my associates' trust in achieving matrimony to Facebrides romance scammers on Facebook had ended. Again. And I was very wrong. Again. There was a new engagement to Facebride number 3. A less than 25-year-old United States Marine with the rank of E7, so we will call her Gunnery Sergeant Lucy. And Gunnery Sergeant Lucy had been awarded the Bronze Star as a United States Marine. My associate and Facebride number 3, Gunnery Sergeant Lucy, were announcing their engagement and securing their wedding plans with her commanding officer. To obtain an emergency leave for my associate to marry Gunnery Sergeant Lucy. The source of the stolen photos and videos used by Facebride number 3, Gunnery Sergeant Lucy, could not be identified on Yandex.com. But a still image from a TikTok video contained a name that led to the identity of the innocent victim in the stolen images and videos. The innocent victim is retired from the United States Marines and has no Bronze Star. She has commented on Facebook that vulnerable victims have contacted her after being criminally scammed by Facebrides romance scammers using stolen images and videos. Unfortunately, some of the vulnerable victims have blamed her for being criminally scammed. She also has unsuccessfully tried to stop Facebrides scammers from using her stolen images and videos on Facebook. Since my associate's third fiancée, Facebride number 3, Gunnery Sergeant Lucy, was easily shown to be a scammer, I sent multiple internet links of photos and video of the real Marine. My associate was quite angry and claimed only one of the Facebrides was not real. At that point, there was no doubt whatsoever that all 3 of my associate's Facebrides fiancés were romance scammers. My associate moved on to Facebride number 4, who we will call Alice Summer. A bit of research on the Facebook URL website address of the scammer indicated that Facebride number 4 was in Nigeria. Contacting Facebride number 4 led to the romance scammer claiming to be from Brazil. My associate also claimed that Facebride number 4, Alice Summer, was from Brazil, and also was his future bride. It only took a few minutes to locate the innocent victim in the images and video stolen by Facebride number 4. Using the Russian search engine at Yandex.com, the images and videos stolen by Facebride number 4, Alice Summer, were an American adult film actress. My associate was very angry with me for investigating and finding the true identity of his 4 Facebrides fiancés. My continuing optimism was that my associate would finally give up on pursuing marriage to Facebrides romance scammers. But one more potential Facebride cropped up. We will call Facebride number 5, Dana McFoot. My associate was planning a 2-week trial relationship that would become permanent after the trial period. A bit of searching on Yandex.com showed that the images stolen by Facebride number 5 Dana McFoot were stolen from yet another adult film entertainer. My anger and frustration after months of grueling detective work and 5 Facebrides romance scammers came to a head. I handled romance scammer Facebride number 5, Dana McFoot, quickly and like a boss. Facebride number 5 had made comments on my associate's page on another social media platform. I placed links of videos of the real adult film actress directly following the comments made by Facebride number 5, Dana McFoot. My associate's last known Facebride was quickly vanquished. I would later discover that Facebride number 4 and Facebride number 5 were either the same person or romance scammers working together to scam my associate. As far as I'm aware, that was the last of my associate's interactions with Facebrides romance scammers on Facebook. It had been almost 3 months of 5 Facebrides romance scammers in my associate's Facebrides fiascos. I was done. Toast. Tolerating no more. If my associate wanted to send all of his meager income to Facebrides romance scammers across the world, I had seen enough and done enough to prevent it. I had kept screenshots and other records of my collision with my associate's deep dive into Facebride romance on Facebook. Yet I really didn't quite understand how anybody could be engaged to 4 or 5 Facebride romance scammers in less than 3 months. That gave me an idea to do a documentary film about a character on Facebook with the goal of getting engaged as many times as possible to Facebride romance scammers. And I wanted to make it fun and entertaining at the same time. My suitor of Facebride romance scammers was Trevor, a shrimp juice tanker truck delivery driver from Alabama. Trevor would travel North and South America delivering the greatest Alabama shrimp juice and illegally importing tequila and other illicit substances from Latin America, while romancing a rich realm of potential facebrides on Facebook. If Trevor was going to get engaged to multiple facebrides, dang it, it was going to be a whole lot of fun. My potential facebride fiancé's research resulted in a list of 200 facebride romance scammers. The Facebook URL web address for each facebride's romance scammer contained a different name than the name on the scammer's Facebook profile. Most of Trevor's potential facebrides bought the Alabama shrimp juice delivery gig to North and South America hook, line, and sinker. The facebride romance scammers quickly attached themselves to Trevor. Several reached out with gift card requests for various reasons. But Trevor had a problem romancing hundreds of beautiful facebride romance scammers in the stolen photographs and videos. Trevor's mind just couldn't see a beautiful young facebride in those stolen images on Facebook. You see, the potential facebrides in the stolen images and videos simply were not real. The vulnerable victims being scammed by criminals on Facebook, those vulnerable victims were very much real. My associate had been so vulnerable to facebride romance scammers, and there were many, many more vulnerable people being victimized on Facebook. There were victims that commented on being scammed out of money and probably heartbroken at the same time. There were also financial scammers using fraud to steal money from vulnerable victims. Through cryptocurrency scams, Ponzi schemes, and other financial fraud scams. There are deceptive links scammers on Facebook. The deceptive links scammer places deceptive links to outbound clicks from Facebook that lead to pornography and other adult content. The deceptive links scammer uses stolen images and videos from innocent victims to entice outbound clicks. The vulnerable victim is lured to adult content, pornography, and nudity through an outbound click going outside of Facebook. There will be much more information and extremely troubling information about deceptive links scammers later. There were so many vulnerable people who had no knowledge of the true identity of a scammer on Facebook, and were falling hook, line, and sinker for scammers. Trevor blew a gasket. He commented again and again on scammers' posts by warning vulnerable people. Trevor's Facebook posts often included the identity of the facebride scammer, who the pictures were stolen from, the country where the scammer resides, pictures of the scammer, and any other information on the scammer that could be found. It became an obsession as Trevor pasted comments to protect vulnerable people from sending what little money they have to facebride scammers, financial scammers, and deceptive links scammers on Facebook. Trevor warned vulnerable people again and again until Facebook stopped Trevor from commenting with a daily limit for posting comments. There is a teenage Nigerian financial and romance scammer we will call Minnie Luxor who really aggravated Trevor. The teenage Nigerian girl has created the Minnie Luxor profile and is impersonating a very real country and western singer who we will call Minnie Gordon. The young Nigerian scammer even left dozens of photos of herself, friends and family on her scammer profile. She has also left her real name on the Facebook URL web address. Facebook has a celebrity option to report scammers impersonating celebrities, so it was easy and simple to report that Nigerian teenager financial scammer Minnie Luxor is impersonating musician Minnie Gordon. Using Facebook's list of celebrities, Trevor reported to Facebook once every day for 5 days that Minnie Luxor was impersonating celebrity Minnie Gordon. There was absolutely no action taken by Facebook about the Nigerian financial scammer impersonating a celebrity musician specifically listed on Facebook's list of celebrities. Due to the lack of any rational, logical response by Facebook to reporting the celebrity impersonator, Trevor repeatedly warned vulnerable victims. He included the true identity of financial and romance scammer, Minnie Luxor, including the Nigerian teenager's name and photos. Trevor was relentless and warned many vulnerable victims. Then something absolutely shocking and unexpected happened. Shocking, like a kick in the gut. Facebook suspended Trevor's account. Facebook requested a facial recognition video of the front and sides of Trevor's head to prove his authenticity in photographs and videos as stated in Facebook's community standards, with authenticity being the first value listed. There was no way that Trevor could pass Facebook's facial recognition system. Trevor's posts to stop Facebrides scammers and other criminals from victimizing vulnerable people on Facebook had resulted in Facebook permanently suspending Trevor's account. Due to Facebook's adherence to its value of authenticity in its community standards, the account would remain disabled to protect the security of users of Facebook, according to Facebook. Trevor was gone forever. But it wasn't necessarily a bad thing to regroup. A new character, Bert, was born using my own photographs. If Facebook again tried to use its facial recognition system challenge, at least I'd be able to pass that test. And I still have the list of Trevor's 200 potential Facebrides with the probable name of the scammer and the URL website address. Bert also drove a shrimp juice truck from Alabama, but Bert was going to be much more vulnerable and not nearly as reactive as Trevor. Operation Facebrides was still alive. The potential Facebrides answered Bert's Facebook friend requests as Bert built his harem of potential Facebrides. Then there was another surprise from Facebook. A few weeks after the demise of Trevor, he was resurrected by Facebook. For some unknown reason, Facebook brought Trevor back from his permanent suspension for being unable to pass Facebook's facial recognition testing, as described by Facebook's value of authenticity from its community standards. Despite resurrection from Facebook death, Trevor came back with a vengeance toward scammers on Facebook. No scammer was safe from the wrath of Trevor. He tried to protect vulnerable victims of scammers with warnings and pictures of the scammer. And then another teenaged scammer really caused Trevor to blow a gasket again. This young scammer, we will call him Abba Ali Mas Oak, is a 14-year-old deceptive links scammer from Indonesia and impersonates a 20-something female political activist we will call Sydney Barron. The deceptive links scammer Abba Ali Mas Oak has stolen images and videos of political activist Sydney Barron and intersperses deceptive links to adult content and pornography with political posts on the scammer's Facebook page. The deceptive Facebook post entices a vulnerable victim to perform an outbound click on the deceptive link. The outbound click on the deceptive links lead to pornography, nudity, adult chat and other adult content outside of Facebook. The political content is meaningless to the deceptive links scammer. It only attracts vulnerable victims and allows for deceptive links to be blended into the scammer's Facebook page. Sometimes the deceptive link is embedded in an innocent-looking Facebook post like this. There is no visible link, but clicking the post leads to adult content, nudity, or pornography. Facebook does have a warning page indicating that a deceptive link does not follow Facebook's community standards. Then the Facebook user is allowed to perform an outbound click to the deceptive link or to return to Facebook. Sometimes a deceptive link leads to a Facebook warning page that states the outbound click to the deceptive link leads to what Facebook calls an objectionable, malicious, hazardous, or harmful website. Later, there will be much more discussion about deceptive links scammers and romance scammers using stolen images and videos of children, family, friends and others on the scammers' Facebook posts. Trevor repeatedly warned potential vulnerable victims that they were actually romancing a 14-year-old boy in Indonesia rather than an American woman. And then there it was. Yet another suspension from Facebook for Trevor. This time, Facebook required that Trevor send photos of an identification card. That's right, Facebook required Trevor to supply an official government identification card, because Trevor was protecting vulnerable victims from a 14-year-old Indonesian scammer. But there was no identification card for Trevor to provide to the security apparatus at Facebook. Facebook required Trevor to have authenticity, as authenticity is described as the first value in Facebook's community standards. It was the end for Trevor, the greatest shrimp juice tanker truck driver in Alabama. It had been a hell of a ride from romancing Facebride scammers to identifying scammers, and then to repeatedly warning so many vulnerable victims. But Trevor wouldn't be resurrected this time. Bert had a growing harem of 93 potential Facebrides. And it seemed that Facebook suggesting a long list of potential friends would be a great opportunity to grow Bert's potential Facebrides harem more quickly. And Facebook had a very long list of potential new friends for Bert. How long? 134 potential new friends long. This third surprise from Facebook was an absolute shock. But worse. Operation Facebrides was interrupted at the exact moment that I saw those 134 friend suggestions from Facebook. And why is that? Dealing with my associates' 5 Facebrides, Operation Facebrides, and the double demise of Trevor had created the skills to do the detective work to identify scammers on Facebook very well. And it looked like about 90% of the friends suggested by Facebook were scammers using stolen profile photos and definitely lacking the value of authenticity as specifically described in Facebook's community standards. A grand total of 1 friend suggested by Facebook was male. Repeating, only 1 friend suggestion was male. And 133 of the friends suggested by Facebook were female. It now required real research into the identity of the people in the 134 friends suggested by Facebook. And doing all that research while working as a very real over-the-road tanker truck driver. And here's what was discovered. You probably know what I was thinking. These just have to be profiles with mutual friends. But no. In the 134 Facebook friend suggestions, there was a total of 6 with 1 mutual friend and only 1 profile with 2 mutual friends. Using Yandex.com and other online resources, here is what was found. 10 of the people in the Facebook friend suggestions were real people and not scammers. 1 did not have enough information. 123 of the 134 friends suggested by Facebook were scammers using stolen photos and videos in the scammers' Facebook profiles. That's 91%. The real person in the stolen photographs and videos was identified in 102 of the 123 scammer profiles, and could not be identified in only 21 of the 123 scammer profiles. 104 had a URL web address with a name. 30 of the friends recommended by Facebook had a number instead of a name on the URL web address. Investigating the actual location of the 123 scammers proved that 80 were from Indonesia. 26 of the 80 Indonesian scammers were male and 17 of the Indonesian scammers were female. The sex of the Indonesian scammer could not be determined in 37 of the 80. One of those 80 Indonesian scammers has a familiar birth date. It is the identical birth date as who we earlier called Abba Ali Mas Oak, the 14-year-old deceptive link scammer. It's quite likely Abba Ali Mas Oak with another deceptive link scammer page. 19 scammers were identified as residing in Nigeria. 3 of the 19 Nigerian scammers were identified as females. 2 of the 19 Nigerian scammers were identified as males. 2 male scammers were identified as residing in Ghana. There were 54 scammers that were romance scammers, financial scammers, or combined both methods of scamming vulnerable victims. There were 4 military romance scammers in the 54 romance scammers. Like Facebrides number 3, Gunnery Sergeant Lucy, these scammers impersonate members of the military. One of the female soldiers recommended by Facebook has at least 15 romance scammers using her stolen images, video and name. A second military romance scammer recommended by Facebook used images of the innocent victim, her children, fellow military members and others on the romance scammer's profile for 6 months. Due to an issue with a married name being different than the maiden name on her uniform, it took me 6 months to identify the innocent victim. There are currently 32 military romance scammers on Facebook using stolen images, videos, and the innocent victim's name, along with her children, fellow military members and others. An army soldier, currently, has her images, videos and name being used by more than 64 military romance scammers. There is no excuse for Facebook or the military of the United States for allowing this situation to exist. The innocent victim of stolen images and videos by Facebride number 3, Gunnery Sergeant Lucy, has made it quite clear that unstable, vulnerable victims have contacted her after being scammed by romance scammers on Facebook. Criminal, military romance scammers use stolen images and video of innocent victims, their children, their families, military associates and others. This represents a clear and unnecessary danger. Having Facebook recommend criminal military romance scammers to unstable, vulnerable victims only compounds the danger to the military community. 69 of the 134 scammer friend suggestions by Facebook were deceptive link scammers. That's 51%. The average number of friends and followers for each deceptive link scammer is 3,727. This high number of friends and followers provides an illusion of credibility and authenticity for Facebook users to falsely believe that the innocent victim in the stolen pictures and video has created the deceptive links account and created the deceptive links that lead by outbound clicks to adult content and pornography. Nearly all of the deceptive links scammers have outbound clicks directly to nudity, pornography, and adult content outside of Facebook. Far fewer outbound clicks on a deceptive link lead to a Facebook warning page. There were 40 deceptive links scammers recommended by Facebook that had outbound clickable links that led directly to a Facebook warning page. Facebook has two types of warning pages. One identifies that the outbound click from Facebook leads to a web page that violates Facebook community standards and is suspicious, malicious, objectionable, harmful, or hazardous. The Facebook user can go directly to the website after the warning page. Facebook also has a more serious warning page that describes deceptive links with outbound clicks to websites as suspicious, malicious, objectionable, harmful, and/or hazardous. It bears repeating that the vast majority of deceptive links with outbound clicks from Facebook lead directly to nudity, adult content and/or pornography without a warning page from Facebook. Outbound clicks on a deceptive link lead to multiple websites with adult content, nudity, and pornography. The destination website changes with each outbound click on the deceptive link to a series of websites. Outbound clicks on a deceptive link change the destination website, but the content is almost always adult content, nudity, or pornography. Each time the deceptive link has an outbound click, one of a series of adult websites is opened outside of Facebook. Different deceptive links scammer profiles have mostly identical adult website destinations after clicking a deceptive link. A vast majority of the adult websites reached by outbound clicks on deceptive links come from only a few sources. Nearly all deceptive links scammers have the same few sources that create and administer the adult websites reached. And even after reaching multiple adult websites with nudity and pornography, Facebook's warning pages can pop up after another outbound click. The real person in the stolen images and videos is simply an innocent victim of the deceptive links scammers on Facebook promoting sexual content, nudity, and pornography. Images and video stolen from the innocent victim are used on the scammer's deceptive links Facebook page and associated with highly sexualized content. Associated with availability for dating and relationships. Associated with availability for sex. Associated with the availability for adult chat. And associated with the availability of additional images and videos with nudity or pornography. Innocent victims do not want or approve of their stolen images and videos being used by Facebook to suggest potential new friends and followers for deceptive link scammers. Innocent victims of stolen images and videos do not want or approve of their children, family, friends or other associates being used to advertise or promote adult content on a deceptive link scammer's Facebook page. The deceptive link scammer has very little or no interaction with friends and followers on the scammer's Facebook page. The deceptive link scammer also rarely or never answers messages from friends or followers. So the deceptive link scammer seeks only one thing: outbound clicks to websites with adult content. And what is received in exchange for those outbound clicks? Money. That is why the 69 deceptive link scammers suggested by Facebook have an average of 3,727 friends and followers for each profile. The deceptive links scammer needs a large audience for the scammer's deceptive links to generate a high volume of clicks and income. The high number of friends and followers also provides an illusion of authenticity. The images and videos stolen from innocent victims are absolutely required to market outbound clicks to adult content and pornography. Without the stolen images and videos of innocent victims, the deceptive links scam would be much less effective, or not at all profitable on Facebook. In this illustration, the deceptive links scammer, Abba Ali Moss Oak, steals images and videos from an innocent victim. The deceptive links scammer receives a deceptive link from the administrator. The administrator has a system of adult websites linked to the deceptive link. Then the deceptive links scammer uses the stolen images and videos from the innocent victim to create a Facebook page with the deceptive links to the adult websites. Then the vulnerable victim on Facebook performs an outbound click on the deceptive link that goes to a series of adult websites outside of Facebook. The administrator of the adult website makes money interacting with vulnerable victim. Based on the number of outbound clicks and interaction with adult websites by vulnerable victims, the administrator and creator pays the deceptive links scammer, Abba Ali Moss Oak. Facebook is certainly capable of monitoring outbound clicks to websites outside of Facebook, like it does for other Facebook customers. And that brings up a question that has a simple answer. It is a question that absolutely needs to be asked, regardless of how certain the answer might be. Is Facebook being paid by administrators of deceptive links for outbound clicks that go to adult content and pornography? If the answer to that question is yes, then Facebook is being paid for the use of the stolen images and videos of innocent victims. And Facebook is advertising deceptive links scammers that use the stolen images and videos of innocent victims to increase Facebook's profits. Suggesting deceptive links scammers as potential friends to users of Facebook is advertising for deceptive links scammers. And advertising the stolen images and videos from innocent victims. And advertising for the administrators of the deceptive links along with the adult content and pornography. The stolen images and videos from innocent victims are absolutely crucial to support the entire deceptive link scam. And Facebook advertises those deceptive link scammer profiles with highly sexualized content, dating and relationship status availability with Facebook users, availability for sexual activity with Facebook users, availability for adult chat with Facebook users, and access to additional images and video with nudity and/or pornography for Facebook users. With all of those being used to entice Facebook users to perform outbound clicks to adult content and pornography. And we've covered how stolen images and videos of children, friends, relatives, and other associates are used to support deceptive links to adult content. Ask yourself how you would like pictures and videos of you, your spouse, your family, friends and associates, and especially your children to be advertised by Facebook to promote pornography and adult content. There's an innocent victim who we'll call Taryn. And Taryn discovered that a deceptive links scammer had stolen her images. It just makes sense that someone like Taryn can report the theft of her images and videos. An innocent victim like Taryn just needs to notify Facebook. It's right there. Who is the person that a scammer is impersonating? Me. Me. And then just wait for an obvious scammer to be eliminated by Facebook. But then, Facebook didn't remove the deceptive links scammer's profile. I had become friends with the deceptive links scammer, Taryn Doe, because that's right, he was an Indonesian scammer on the list of 200 potential Facebrides. I noticed that the real Taryn had made comments on the scammer's Taryn Doe page. The deceptive links scammer had numerous deceptive links that led to nudity and adult content. More than a month later, Taryn appealed to friends on her own Facebook page to report the deceptive links scammer that stole her images, videos, and even her first name. Her friends replied that they had reported the scammer. There were probably a dozen or more comments from Taryn's friends about reporting the deceptive links scammer. There was even a friend that stated Facebook replied that the deceptive links scammer didn't violate Facebook's community standards. I reached out to innocent victim, Taryn, and exchanged a few messages about the deceptive links scammer using her images, videos and first name. Discussion included that the Indonesian scammer left one of his photos on the deceptive links scammer Facebook page, left 5 Indonesian likes on the Facebook page, that the scammer had almost 5,000 friends, that deceptive links led to nudity, pornography, and to a Facebook warning page, and that the scammer used nudity in a Facebook post that could easily be misidentified as the innocent victim. The image with nudity on Facebook could have easily been mistaken for Taryn, the innocent victim. Another provocative Facebook post by the deceptive links scammer stated that it would cost $50 to touch it. And these deceptive link posts led directly to websites with nudity, adult content, pornography, and to Facebook warning pages. Checking out an anti-scammer group on Facebook led to communicating with a moderator who claimed to have a direct system to remove Facebook scammers, and a Facebook employee contact for Facebook scammers that are too old and sticky. I asked for Facebride number 4 to be removed and another financial scammer. And the next day, Facebride number 4 and the financial scammer were gone. Christmas was coming up, and I asked a moderator for the anti-scammer group to check out the Taryn Doe, deceptive links scammer page. But the reply was strange, and stating she looks real. I pointed out to the moderator that the scammer left his picture on the Facebook page, provided the Facebook profile of the innocent victim, showed all 5 likes were Indonesian, that there were almost 5,000 friends, and that there were deceptive links leading to websites with nudity. The moderator repeated that the profile looked real. It took a week or more, but the deceptive links scammer, Taryn Doe, was gone. It hadn't happened by Christmas, but it was a great pleasure to tell the innocent victim that the scammer's deceptive links Facebook profile was gone. I was thrilled to eliminate that scammer, but a few comments by the anti-scammer moderator just stuck in my mind. Did they really have a direct system to control scammers? These people don't seem to be employed by Facebook. And what about scammer profiles are too old for that system? And then what about a scammer profile is sticky and requires action by Facebook employees? What the heck is sticky? Let's examine how Facebook responds to legitimate reporting of stolen images and videos. We've already covered how Trevor unsuccessfully reported a Nigerian, romance and financial scammer. A teenaged scammer who we have named Minnie Luxor impersonates a celebrity musician we have named Minnie Gordon. Minnie Luxor left dozens of her pictures on her scammer profile on Facebook. She even left her real name on the internet address URL for the scammer page on Facebook. Trevor tried to warn vulnerable victims about the teenaged, Nigerian scammer we call Minnie Luxor. That resulted in Facebook challenging Trevor's authenticity with a facial recognition test, and resulted in the first permanent suspension of Trevor. Trevor had reported the scammer impersonating celebrity Minnie Luxor 5 days in a row from a list of celebrities created by Facebook, and Trevor had no success. As of a couple days ago, I've reported that scammer Minnie Luxor is impersonating celebrity Minnie Gordon on a daily basis for 159 days using Facebook system and its list of celebrities. Financial and romance scammer Minnie Luxor is still impersonating celebrity musician Minnie Gordon after 471 days. That's 1 year and 3 months. And 14-year-old Indonesian deceptive links scammer, who we are calling Abba Ali Mas Oak. He still has 2 deceptive links scammer profiles, with one from the list of 134 friends suggested by Facebook. Following his unexpected resurrection from permanent suspension by Facebook, Trevor tried so hard. He reported scammer Abba Ali Mas Oak and tried to warn vulnerable victims. And Trevor had been permanently suspended. Again. A tough guy like Trevor don't need no official identity card like Facebook wanted to prove Trevor's authenticity. Authenticity? OHE double hockey sticks, no. And Facebook's community standards has that very, very specific value of authenticity for people in Facebook's community. Remember, Facebook ended Trevor's reporting and his obsession with warning vulnerable victims and exposing scammers on Facebook. And deceptive links scammer, Abba Ali Moss Oak, still has his 2 deceptive links scammer profiles, operating for 7 and 8 months. Sounds like they're a bit sticky. The authenticity of each deceptive links scammer profile is definitely right at 0.0. Right when I was most dismayed at the lack of success in reporting scammers on Facebook, a Nigerian romance scammer appeared. Well, he authentically demanded that I answer a video call on Facebook's messenger system. And when I hung up that video call, the Nigerian scammer wrote, "I will beep gun you down, mother beep." Since Facebook has a sincere value of authenticity, I asked the Nigerian romance scammer if he would gun me down. The scammer verified the authenticity of his threat by answering yes. That sure seemed to be an authentic threat. The scammer then demanded that he see a picture of me. But it seemed like the Nigerian romance scammer wanted me to prove my authenticity, and then he actually planned to authentically gun me down. Mother beeper. Despite having so very little success with hundreds and hundreds of authentic reports about scammers on Facebook, I reported to Facebook this authentic threat with the Nigerian romance scammer's verification of authenticity. And it took a couple days. But that Nigerian romance scammer was gone. Authentically gone. And it was an authentic victory. 100% authentic victory over scammers on Facebook. And approximately maybe 1,000 reports to Facebook that weren't so authentically victorious. My detour into Facebrides scammers and other scammers on Facebook ends with my tanker parked figuratively right at the door of Facebook or Meta or whatever you're calling yourselves. It's got a load from that detour that stinks worse than the most seasoned load of Trevor's Alabama shrimp juice. It might be best to have straightforward, hard conversations with Facebook and its oversight board about those community standards with the specific value of authenticity. Let's have conversations about a real dedication to a space where people and communities trust the authenticity of that space as a key to genuine community standards.